Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive in the left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
You shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just have
To Bronson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I am going to really need the Yankees to come through this year and exceed my expectation, because the way the Knicks have been playing lately, after their 9-game win streak against the Wizards again, the Jazz, and a hospital Orlando Magic squad once or twice, they're kind of getting exposed pretty badly. It's getting ugly with the Knicks, and it's quite disgusting. If you cannot tell, I am recording this Yankees episode right after a terrible Knicks loss to the Bulls. That was the night after a terrible close loss to the Thunder. It's been disgusting in Manhattan. So we're gonna try to change the vibes maybe and talk some Yankees, which is hopefully more positive. The Yankees have been a little silent, after the Goldschmidt signing. I don't know, a week or two ago. It's kind of been silent on the Yankees' end. Is this it? In terms of bigger additions, we'll see. It possibly very well can be. I made my thoughts very clear on what I think about this lineup. After losing Juan Soto, I said the name. I said I wouldn't say the name, but I said the name. After losing number 22, I made my thoughts known, especially the last Yankees episode we dropped when we talked about the Goldschmidt deal. I put up a couple of, I clipped a few sound bites and put them on my Instagram, and, I got some very good reactions, and I got some interesting comments that, people like to think with their emotions, so didn't agree with some of my takes, but so I want to clarify that. I think there are good things with this lineup. What I like about it is the upside 1-9. Right? I think there's a chance for some legitimate, solid depth. Here goes the asterisk. If things go right. I like the balance in the order. They have a fair amount of lefties. They've got a fair amount of righties. They've got a couple of switch bats, depending on what you consider Cabrera. I like the blend of youth and veteran, right? You got a bunch of guys like Goldschmidt and Stanton, and I guess you can consider Aaron Judge a veteran. And you got guys like Anthony Volpe coming up. You got a rookie like Jason Dominguez. You got guys going into their second year in Austin Wells. You got some speed and athleticism on that team. That's good. And you added 2 big name additions, right? 2 guys who everyone in baseball knows, in Cody Bellinger and in Paul Goldschmidt. So there's always potential for a big name to produce, right? No matter what age they're at, there's always potential for them to give you at least average production, you know. And in the Yankees case, going from, you know, the god-awful production they were getting from Verdugo and Rizzo, going from that to Goldy and Belly, that's a big jump. It's a big jump. If they're even average, right? If they're just adequate, it's already a big jump because Verdugo and Rizzo were black holes. So my frustration in that last Yankees episode we did wasn't really about Paul Goldschmidt, although, like, it was more about not going after Walker. You know, like, I'm not sitting here and saying that Paul Goldschmidt is not going to produce. In fact, I'll go as far as saying I think there's a better chance than not Paul Goldschmidt will live up to his $12 million contract and he'll be an average bat. I think that's very possible. My frustration was there was something out there that could have given you a lot more than a potentially league average bat. So that's where I get to the skepticism about this lineup, where I think there's a low floor because there's just a lot of unpredictability here. You've got some aging veterans in this lineup where you can look at a few of them and you question, what am I getting? What am I getting with Paul? Well, what am I getting with Paul Goldschmidt at age 37, 38? What am I getting, you know, am I getting, he declined a little bit last year, right? His numbers weren't great. This could very well be it. Guys usually drop off after 34. Goldschmidt's, I want to say 37, maybe 38. He had a bad year last year. He had a down year. That could be the start of it. You know, he had issues hitting right-handed pitching, who dominate the league. 80% of the league is righty. So what am I getting from a 37-year-old Paul Goldschmidt? What am I getting from Cody Bellinger, who's, if you followed Cody Bellinger throughout his career, it's been one hell of a roller coaster. He's been extremely inconsistent year to year. You don't know if you're getting this MVP caliber all-star or if you're getting this league average bat. Or if you're getting a guy who's completely fallen off a cliff like he did in 2020. You know, what am I getting from Stanton as he is going to be a year older next year? As he's always hurt, he's going to go to the DL at some point. We could see a bigger decline from him. He had a decent season last year, but he was on the DL for at least a month. He's going to be a year older. And then you go to your younger players. There's question there. Right? Anthony Volpe was very highly touted for his bat. He hasn't taken off yet. He still struggles to hit the high fastball. He still struggles on off speed and breaking balls. He's got a very inconsistent approach to the plate. He's tinkered with his swing a lot already. Is he going to get enough, will he generate enough power in that swing? Does he have too much of a hole in his swing? Last season, his OPS dropped 9 points from what it was his rookie season. What am I going to get from Austin Wells a year or two? Progress is not always linear. He struggles with high velocity fastballs up in the zone with his swing because he's got a very, he's got a lot of launch angle on his swing, so it's hard for him to get those fastballs near the chest. He struggles a lot hitting left-handed pitching. The Yankees don't have a Jose Trevino anymore to spell him against lefties. Austin Wells tapered off at the end of the year. In September, he hit 8 for 72. That was a 111 batting average. He slugged 194. Finished the year slugging 396. Didn't have a good postseason. I'm not saying he's going to have a bad year. I have faith in Austin Wells, but he's a young, unpredictable prospect. Oswaldo Cabrera is very well in the picture now to be an everyday third baseman. He's a very light hitter. We know he's not there for his bat. You know what you're getting with him at this point offensively. Occasionally he'll catch a hot spell. Jason Dominguez. A lot of people have high hopes, including myself, in him. Another completely unpredictable prospect. We've never seen him in a full season. He's got less than 100 major league at-bats in his career so far. There's a lot of question marks. Are the Yankees going to have enough thump? Is there enough power there after losing Soto and Torres and Verdugo? You know, for the three of them combined, I think for 70 homers. Who else behind Aaron Judge, besides Aaron Judge in that lineup, is there any other guy who you can guarantee will give you an 800 OPS? Besides Aaron Judge, is there any other guy who you can guarantee to hit 30 home runs? There's a lot of guys who can and might, but there's nobody who's like a lock. There's no lock anymore next to Aaron Judge. There's no lock at all. Who's going to lead off for the Yankees? Who's the leadoff hitter? I mean, it seems like it's going to come down to Bellinger or Jazz Chisholm. I don't love either of those options. I mean, Bellinger's not really a high on base guy. Neither is Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm's got one of the worst two-strike approaches I've ever seen. He's a good hitter. I think he'll flirt with the 30-30 season, if not 25-25. But he's got a really bad approach. He's very swing happy at times. I don't like that if that's going to be their leadoff man. So there are questions. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is I think there are one too many question marks. You know, this current lineup that the Yankees have right now, today, can probably get them through the American League. It can probably hit American League pitching. But the goal's not to win the AL. The goal's to win the World Series. And this current lineup can't compete with the Dodgers lineup. I think they need one more bat. I still think they should get another bat. They want to move Jazz to second base, so I think their target should be a third baseman. And if I'm talking unrealistic options, I would be looking right at Alex Bregman. But I know that's not happening. I know the Yankees question his fit. His Yankee Stadium numbers are very bad. You know, Bregman's pull rate would have to change significantly coming into Yankee Stadium with a big left field. I think Boris is going to try to squeeze every penny if that were to be the case where they go after him. But the Yankees want to enter the season with breathing room under the final CBT. They want to go into the season not above the tax, not right under. They probably want to have a little bit of breathing room so they can make in-year moves. Which is a little ridiculous to me because it's funny because I'm looking at teams like the Dodgers who've won twice already this decade, not giving a goddamn about payroll. But here the Yankees are. In their billions worrying about payroll. And draft picks, right? We love our draft picks. Although they did sign Fried. I just have this bad feeling that's most likely going to be a battle to see who comes out of camp as the front runner between Cabrera, Peraza, maybe Vivas. I know they just signed Andrew Velasquez, brought him back. Don't even mention LeMahieu's name. I just feel like it's going to be a battle between, a couple of those infielders there. That's the gut feeling I'm getting. I would not mind them going after somebody cheaper and still productive, like a Brendan Donovan or I'm hearing Matt Vierling. Vierling? Is that how you say that? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Played with Philly and Detroit, I think. Which we'll talk more about that in a second. But I think no matter what they do, the sure thing is that the Yankees' identity next season is going to be all about pitching, right? Pitching and defense. You have a rotation that's now led by Cole and Fried, with Heel, Rodon, and Schmidt as your middle to back end arms now. It's just crazy. You've got a back end of the bullpen that's loaded with swing and miss, some high velo arms, some elite off speed in there. You've got an infield and outfield defense that's much more organized and in position. Right? Judge is back to right field, where he's much better suited, where he was a much better glove in his first couple years when he played right field. Soto was an awful right fielder, so there's an upgrade there. Dominguez is hopefully going to be back to playing primarily in center field, which is his natural position. You want him there as opposed to him catching fly balls in the biggest left field in the American League. And Belly's going to be playing in the outfield for you, who can also play some first base. He's got a great glove, and he can run a little bit in the outfield. Jazz, hopefully going back to second base. I didn't love his third base defense. And Torres was an awful second baseman, so that's going to fix second base if they do decide to go that route. And first base, which was just a place of musical chairs over there, when Anthony Rizzo was healthy, he was really bad defensively last year. He dropped off. You're adding in Paul Goldschmidt, who is an excellent first baseman. That's a big upgrade. And you got Volpe at shortstop. You know he's a Gold Glover. And you know the base running, I think, is going to be improved a little bit too. Torres and Soto and Rizzo, they were all awful on the bases. Awful. Not just speed, but I'm talking their reads. They made some terrible reads. But you're getting a lot more speed now with a full season of Bellinger, a full season of Jazz Chisholm, and a full season of Jason Dominguez. Speaking of Jason Dominguez, I do want to talk about him. When we return from our first break here on the podcast in episode 773. So I want to talk more about Dominguez. Stay with us. We'll be right back here. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment, and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. All right, welcome back to the show. Episode 773 of the podcast. We're talking Yankees, not Knicks, in this episode. So one of the guys who I really, really hope and I think the Yankees need him to hit, boy, do they need him to hit, Jason Dominguez. Their prized prospect. Their prized prospect who turns 22 years old next month, who's under team control for 6 years. This is a kid who has been in their system for a little bit now. He debuted late 2023. Everybody remembers that stint. He was on fire. The Houston series. Got hurt. Spent some time in the minors again with the oblique injury once he returned in 2024. And then the Yankees finally called him back up. I think it was in August. And he got sporadic playing time, didn't get everyday reps. It was late in the season, and he was very inconsistent on both ends. But there's still a lot to like about this kid. I think he's very toolsy. The scouting reports say that he's very toolsy. You look at the 2080 scale, everything is a 50 or higher in all categories. You know, he's going to give the Yankees youth and athleticism out there. The kid can run. The sprint speed numbers, on his Savant page, back that up. He had 5 stolen bases in 18 games last year. And he's projected to be at least an average glove. I really think what we saw last year was kind of fluky. And it also wasn't fair to him, being that they just threw him in left field in Yankee Stadium last minute and expected him to learn the position late. I thought they should have been giving him those Yankee Stadium left field reps after he returned from the injury the second time. I thought they should have let him get some reps in the minors for a bit and then promoted him then, because it's not like Alex Verdugo was ever hitting for them. And so he struggled defensively, and he struggled at the plate a little bit. But I'm not worried about the bat. This kid's bat is why he's here. The reason Jason Dominguez is a brand name already is because of his switch hitting power. This guy's power is something that I really truly believe is legitimate. He can hit the ball super freaking hard. He's got great bat speed from the left side, from the right side. And he's as inconsistent as it's been so far for him at the major league level. If there's one thing he has displayed, it's been power. Through 26 big league games, he's already got 6 homers, 11 RBIs, a .437 slug, and a 107 OPS plus. So he's already showing you power with the 6 bombs. He's got solid plate discipline, a very good eye. He drew a good share of walks last year. So far at the big league level, across 100 plate appearances, he's got 13 walks. That's a 13% walk rate. League average is, 8, 9%? He drew a lot of walks with the Yankees last year. So he gets on base, he's got speed, he's got power, he's very toolsy. So the overall expectation is that this guy needs to hit. This guy needs to be the real deal. I want him to be this all-star caliber player because they've saved him from all deals and they have done everything it takes to manipulate service time with him. So he better be good. Like, he better have 30-30 upside. He better be this 800 to 900 OPS bat eventually. But he's coming up next season. You're expecting him to be a part of the team next year every day, right? You're hoping that that's his role, that there's no more bullshit, that there's no battle going into camp versus Everson Pereira or some other random in their system. Because this kid needs his shine now. He needs everyday reps too once he's here. If this is truly your top prospect that you've been holding on to for years, then it's time to start treating him like it. And with number 22 gone, and with Aaron Judge aging, Dominguez is important. He's an important staple in your upcoming core. He's like your next nucleus to build around. So I expect him to improve. I expect him to improve in the outfield. Hopefully it's more center field that we see this year. I'm hoping he worked on in the offseason, and he's continuing to work on hitting from the right side of the plate, because he has struggled hitting lefties from the right side of the plate. He struggled against lefties as a right-handed hitter in the minors, and he struggled as a right-handed hitter in the majors so far. Another thing that needs to become more consistent is hitting the ball in the air more, getting more lift on the ball. For this kid to hit from both sides of the plate coming into the Yankees Stadium, I would love to see him increase. I would love to see him increase his launch angle a little bit. So I'm curious to see what it's going to look like for Jason Dominguez as an important piece now in this lineup next year. The Steamer projections project him next season to bat .249 with a .326 on base, a .417 slugging, .743 OPS, .112 WRC plus, 18 homers, 18 stolen bases, 63 RBIs. If he gives me something like that in his rookie season, for a 22-year-old switch hitting rookie, that's solid. That's solid. I would take that. That's not something I could get too upset about as a starting point with a kid who's got a lot more upside to unlock. So I think if Dominguez can hit next year and do something like that, that changes the bottom of the order, man. And that can maybe give you a leadoff hitter eventually. But I do still think the Yankees need just one more bat. They need a third baseman. I don't think Cabrera, Peraza, etc. full-time at third base is serious for a World Series contender. I think that's very unserious. I would really like the Yankees, if this happens, if the Cardinals do shop Brendan Donovan, I would love that. It's kind of a quiet market for him right now. I don't know if St. Louis is going to go through with that. But if they're truly going through with this rebuild and they want to get a haul, Brendan Donovan wouldn't be a guy I'd be upset about. I go to his StatCast page. It's all red except for some of the hard hit numbers, like the exit velo, the bat speed, barrel percentage, hard hit. But that's because he's more about bat control and he's got a contact-oriented approach. He's a .280 career hitter in 3 seasons with a .771 OPS. Coming off a year where he batted .278 with a .759 OPS. All 3 seasons, very similar numbers, so consistent production. You know what you're getting. This is a left-handed hitter who could see a potential power uptick in Yankee Stadium, right? His home run totals have increased each season from 5 to 11 to 14. So I think there's potential as a lefty with a short porch to give you 20 home runs next year. You go to the other side of the diamond. He's a very versatile glove. I think he can play second base, third base, and some corner outfield even. And the best part about Brendan Donovan is this is Cashman's gold. He's got 4 more years of team control left as a guy who's turning 28 years old. 4 more years of control. So that keeps the Yankees under that final CBT with some breathing room entering the season if they are to move Stroman. That's if they can get him without St. Louis tying Arenado's money to it. If Arenado says we'll give you Donovan, but you have to take, or if St. Louis says we'll give you Donovan, but you have to eat some of Arenado, I think I'm good. I think that kind of defeats the purpose of moving Stroman. And Arenado, I just think is bad value on that contract, even if it's getting 2 birds with 1 stone. I would rather pay up just high prospect capital to not take Arenado. Like if I have to throw Jones in there, attach Hampton and maybe a mid-level prospect, or is like Clark Schmidt included in that deal because the Yankees have starting pitching depth. But Brendan Donovan's a guy I would keep an eye on. I don't know if St. Louis is going to move him, but only making pennies. So he's not really going to cost a major payroll hit. $4 million, I think, next year. This upcoming year. And then Matt Vierling. I'm less thrilled about that name, but at this point, it's whatever. I wouldn't be too pissed off. Like, he's a lighter bat, but he's a righty. Similar home run numbers as Donovan, but more strikeouts. The metrics, you go to his StatCast, is very underwhelming. A lot of blue outside of the contact stuff. But he too is under control for 4 more years. I think it's going to be Stroman next, though, folks. Or very soon. Like, I think that's got to be what they do. I know it's not easy to move Stroman. You might have to attach a prospect or throw a relief pitcher in there just to get someone to take him. You might have to eat a little of that money, too. You know, if you have to eat money, then do it. You know, because he's going to be hard to take and get value. It's just going to be a salary dump. That's the idea of it. He's an older veteran. He's been pretty mediocre. He's declining in the last few seasons now. You know, in 2021, he had a solid 3.02 ERA. That jumped to 3.50 the next year. That jumped to 3.95 in 2023. And then last year, that skyrocketed to 4.31 with the Yankees. His metrics have taken a steep decline. His stuff is just super below average. The fastball is consistently sitting 89, 90 miles an hour. That's, I think, the 5th percentile, which is horrendous, meaning 95% of the league throws harder than him. His breaking ball is pretty bad. It's got no bite, inconsistent command on his off speed. You know, you go to his entire StatCast page and it's all blue, except for the ground ball rate and barrel, because he gets soft contact. But this guy misses his spot just a little bit inside the zone, and he's a problem. So, you know, I mean, his entire StatCast page is 40th underneath. It's under 40th percentile. It cost $18.5 million. So the Yankees are going to have to figure it out, but I do think that's coming. They will move him. They're going to move him because they want to remain below the final tax number for either flexibility in the regular season or if they're trying to get another infield bat. So I don't know who it is yet. Is it going to be the Athletics because they're paying everybody? They're paying anybody. You know, is it going to be the Giants? They need a guy who can eat some innings. Is it going to be St. Louis as they're trying to move Arenado's money? I don't know, but I think that's coming. And that's it. That's all I have to add. It's been a fine offseason. It's been a solid offseason considering they lost number 22. So if I'm going to grade Cashman's offseason, that's tough. But I think I'm going to say, and I might get some shit for this because I know Yankees fans tend to be very positive around this time of year. But I give it a B, you know, which isn't a terrible grade. If we're grading on a curve, given the loss of number 22, I'll go B+. Will not go higher than that. If they get another bat and it's like a pretty high impact bat, maybe I do go higher than that. You know, but if this is it, if we're done here and the rest is very minor moves, B+. Solid. It's been a solid offseason. I'm very worried about this lineup, which, you know, offensive production is the staple of success in baseball. You know, there's a low floor and there's a decent ceiling. So a B/B+. I don't really know where to land. So with that said, I think that's all I got. Go Yanks. Episode 773 in the books. The Yanks have been silent lately. Are they done spending? We'll see. If they are, good job. Good job. Not a terrible offseason. Given what happened, given the American League is relatively weak, I think they can at least take the division and wouldn't be too shocked if they at least won the LDS. Still want one more high impact bat. That's what's holding me back from really being excited like a lot of you might be. Thank you all. I appreciate it very much. I'll see you soon. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.